We will now make a reminder how we can filter our Cognos list by using formula. For that, I will click somewhere inside of my list. I will go to filter button. I will go to edit filters. I will click on plus to add another filter, and I will select advanced filter. And advanced filter is a filter that allows me to create a formula. Now here from this tab, I will use one of the columns from my query. I will use column year. And I will say that year is equal to, and now I have to select my year. But instead of typing it, I can just click on this button here, and then I can select one of the years from my database. I will select this year, 2017. We can also use this search field here, and we have all of these options here if we need them. I will now click on insert, and this is my formula. Now this formula is working in a way that it will return either true or false. And all of the rows where this formula returns true will be part of the final result, and all of the other rows will be removed. I will then click on OK, and then again on OK, and this is how my filter works. I only have this year 2017. I will now create one more filter. I will go again to this filter button, to edit filters, to plus sign, to advanced, to OK, to my query, and this time I will select this year month, but instead of using equal, I will use in operator, and with in operator I'm now able to select several months, not just one but several months. I don't have to type them. This time I can use this button, select multiple values. Previously we have used this button, but now I will use this other button. I will click here, and I will select 3 months. I will select January, February, and March. I will click on this arrow, and then I will click on insert. Now we can validate our formula by using this button, validate, and we can also select some part of our formula that allows to use these buttons here. I can use, for example, cut. I can use copy. I will now click on this copy button, then I will go here below, and then I can use this button paste if I want to paste, but I don't need this text here. So if it is selected, I can click on this minus button to delete that text, and I will just leave it like this. I will then click on OK, and here we can notice two more things. We can apply our filter before and after aggregation, and we can also select filter that will not be applied to rows of data but to subtotals, and for that we would create our filter inside of this summary filters pane. But I will just leave it like this. I will click on OK, and now we only have January, February, and March. We will now acquaintance ourselves with some date functions, and we will use those date functions to create a filter. I will now jump here to page 2, and here we have another list, and I want to filter this list to yesterday's date. Now today is February the 16th, and I want to filter this list to yesterday's date, so that means that I want to filter it to February the 15th. But if today's date is some other date, for example, if today is March the 3rd, in that case I would like to filter this list to March the 2nd. So when today's date is changed, the yesterday's date is changed, and I always want to know what is that yesterday's date, and for that I need some date functions. So we will first create our filter. I will click somewhere inside of this list. I will go to filter button, edit filters. I will click on plus sign. I will choose advanced, and then on OK. So I want to create a formula. First, I will select my column. So here inside of query, I have my column day. So that is a column with dates. And I will say that I want that this column is equal to, and then I will choose my first function. I will go here to functions. I will go to common functions folder, to A to C, and here I have a function with the name current date. Current date will return only today's date. I will click then on OK, and then on OK. So I have filtered my list to today's date, February the 16th. But I want to use yesterday's date. So I will again change my formula. I will open it, and I will use another function. I will go here to functions, to folder business datetime functions, and from here I will use this function add days. I will add it here, and this function will use current date as first argument, and then it will move that date several days in the future or in the past. This time I will use -1 as a second argument because I want to jump one day in the past, so I want to jump to yesterday's date. So when I click validate and then on OK, and then again on OK, my list will be filtered to yesterday's date, and this function will work on any date, not just on February the 16th. Now we will repeat the whole process, but this time I will use some auxiliary columns to see the steps inside of this formula. First, we will go here to query 2. We will select this filter we have just created and we will delete it. And instead of it, I will use some auxiliary columns. I will go here to Toolbox. I will use query calculation and I will create another column. I will call that column today's date. And here I will only use that function we saw before that is named current date. I will click on OK, and then I will click on this button to execute my query to see the result of a query. I will click on OK, and I would get this. I would get a column that only has February the 16th inside of it. Then we would create another column. Again, I will use query calculation. This column will be named yesterday's date. And like before, I will use this function add days from current date -1. I will click on OK, and I will again run my query to see our result. And this time we have a new column with only February the 15th. Now what we are looking for is the row where this yesterday's date here is equal to this date inside of our day column. So we are looking for this row. So for that, I will create another column. I will call this column filtering condition. And here I will make a condition that they should be equal to yesterday's date. I will click on OK. We will run this query and we will get a new column with only values true or false. So everywhere is false, but in that row where this day is equal to yesterday's date, we have true. And we will use this column to create a filter. Now we know that filter is a formula that returns true or false. And we already have a column that returns true or false. So I will go back and I will just move this column filtering condition inside of the tail filters. I will just click on OK. And this is all I have to do. I will now go back to page 2. And we can see how we have created our filter step by step, so we have a better understanding of how this formula works.